Okay, now it might be working. Alright, you guys seeing me? Yay! You guys hear me okay? I'll have to edit out some of the beginning here. Sorry. Sorry about the delay, guys. How's everyone doing? When people who are going to be watching this later, there's going to be like pauses while I'm reading the text that you're not going to be able to see. Um, but that's how it goes. You got to be a Patreon supporter if you want to be involved with it. So thank you, everyone who's in the stream right now. Thank you for all your support. I really appreciate it. I hope that this live Q&A is something that you guys are interested in, and maybe we can keep doing it in the future if it all goes well. Where's Ash? Ash is sleeping over there. She'll probably wander in and out during the stream. She tends to do that when I'm working on something. So for those of the people who are watching this stream later, I'm going to put the recorded one up after all the live stuff's done. This is the Patreon exclusive Q&A. So I've done some of these before, but they were pre-recorded stuff in my normal set area. But this one's going to be live, answering questions for people who are supporting me on Patreon, which has other rewards like seeing videos early, being able to vote on viewers' choice episodes and movie nights and things like that. So if anyone is watching this later and wants to get in on this, you can see my stuff and see all these rewards at patreon.com/movie nights. And that's my plug. And that's probably the smoothest I've ever done something live without really planning it. So I'm kind of proud of myself here. Oh yeah, I got my new hair. I forget that it's not actually been on camera yet. I've taken some pictures, but yeah, I chopped all of my hair off. I do this once every like few years. I'm just like, I gotta get rid of it. It's too much. I don't like maintaining it. I love having the long hair, but it's a lot of work, and it's thick and hard to comb. This is a good time for Europeans at 7 p.m. in Sweden. Sweet. So really, like, everything's coming up Millhouse. It's just perfect for everyone. I hope people aren't too hungover today, celebrating St. Patrick's Day. I don't imagine it's big in Sweden, but anyone that was celebrating yesterday, drinking. I wasn't. I don't drink a lot. Except my wild cherry Pepsi. Mm-mm. You're always hungover? Man, that's gotta be a bad life. That's gotta be rough. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, just throw them my way. Otherwise, I'll just be coming up with something to talk about. I love wild cherry Pepsi. I got the diet wild cherry Pepsi. I started switching to diet sodas a little while ago, and so far it's worked out for me. Like I've never been as picky about it, but I always got the regular ones, and then I realized, if I didn't really care, I might as well go with the healthier option. How does the views, likes, subscriptions in your videos influence your choice of which projects you work on? Would you just do what you like or change to go after ratings? Usually I like to cover things I just want to cover, because I feel like obligation videos are just not very fun to do. But when I get a lot of requests for something, that tends to influence if I'm going to do it or not, because obviously a lot of people are interested in it. That's why I did Fateful Findings, because a lot of people were sending me messages about that and other Neil Breen movies. Sometimes if it's a movie that I think will get a lot of hits, it doesn't hurt. I won't do something that I absolutely loathe doing. Even if I hate the movie, if I think it's going to be a funny video, I'll do it, but... So yeah, it's not, I don't like doing things that are just clickbaity, because, it's just, I just like doing things that I'm interested in, and hopefully you guys are too, and it seems to have worked out. I could sing? Yeah, I guess I could sing, fill in some time. I gotta make sure that it's it's a good cover, doesn't get copyright ID'd because they sound exactly like them. Obsessed with your Quantum Leap obsession. Yeah, that just took over my life. I don't know, you can't see it too well in the background. I don't know, there's too much headspace here. Um, yeah, well, now you can't see it at all. But, like, okay, back there behind, okay, where am I pointing? Back there you can see there's some Quantum Leap VHS. I got the laser disc up there. I don't know how to point. Um, those are all the Quantum Leap novels over there, as well as my big fat head gets in the way. I don't know, this is all throwing me off. Anyway, that's where most of my Quantum Leap stuff is. Just have a big collection going on. How's my sec life? Ooh, typo. Messed it up. I love that these Q&As turn into like Quantum Leap question sessions. I love talking about Quantum Leap. I hope this is interesting to people who don't care about Quantum Leap. Do I ship Al and Sam, and have I ever read any Al and Sam fic? Sometimes. I'm fair weather on that. You know, mostly I like them because there's this intimacy there that really, that's what draws me into stories, is really, like, I just want to see what is going on with the characters, and hopefully there's a good plot to go along with it. I don't read the smut stuff. I don't like reading the sex stuff, and a lot of slash goes into sex, but there's some other ones that I've liked pretty well. And they've done some excellent character stuff, so it sort of just depends. When did I discover Quantum Leap? I actually watched nearly every episode when it aired. It was an appointment TV for me as a child. I discovered it a few years ago. I never saw it on TV. I never saw reruns. I don't know who's been watching these reruns or where they were, but I never saw them. But Phelan really liked the show, and he loves time travel and stories about that, so... Bad video settings. I'm sorry if it starts going, like, kind of cruddy. My internet seems to be going in and out. But yeah, so a few years ago I just watched all of it with Phelan, and I just took over my life. How much wrestling has Phelan shown you, and also do you refer to Val Venus as Val Zellers like Phelan? I haven't watched a lot of wrestling matches by itself. I've watched wrestling content. Like, I love OSW reviews. Those guys are hilarious. And I love when people talk about this and the history of it. But wrestling itself, I've never gotten into just the matches themselves. Like, I just think that there's a lot of interesting people and storylines and people who are just really passionate about it. Like, I'm interested in it from their perspective. So that's the kind of stuff I like watching. And the Zellers thing made me laugh. I'm going to try and not skip over any of these. You did the replica review to tie in with the RiffTrax release. Is that something you'd like to do more with? And are there any RiffTrax releases you like the unriffed version of as well? Yeah, that was freaking awesome. I love Mystery Science Theater and RiffTrax, and most people that do the video reviews, I think, are somewhat influenced by Mystery Science Theater. And so yeah, I did a while ago. They had the RiffTrax reunion that they did, the live reunion, and I went to see that with Brad, and we did a midnight screenings on it. And the guy who does the social media stuff for RiffTrax, Peter Hunter, he saw it, and they're looking in 2017 to kind of do more of this interactive stuff with other web reviewers and things like that. So he contacted me and asked me if I'd be interested in doing a review of Replica to tie in with their riff of it, which is part of what I explained in the video anyway. So I was like, hell yeah! do something for Riff Tracks. It was fantastic. So I was super pumped to do that, and it was so nice to be asked about a promotional thing that somewhat ties into what I do. And the movie, I would have reviewed it regardless, because James Wan is just hilarious, a fantastic filmmaker, and I love Birdemic and Julian Jack. Those were really fun videos to do. So, so yeah, I'd love to do more, and they talked about doing more Riff Track stuff in the future, collaborating on other projects. So, hopefully that seems to have gone well for them. Me doing my own review of it and directing people that way. And by the way, if you guys haven't seen the Riff Tracks of Replica, like, it was hilarious. Like, it was really funny. Are there any Riff Tracks releases you like unriffed versions of as well? Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, Riff Tracks especially will be movies that, like, I particularly enjoy and I want to see a funnier version of it, as opposed to Mystery Science Theater, which I've seen less of on Rift. I think the only one, honestly, of Mystery Science Theater that I've seen unriffed was Night of the Blood Beast, which is the one with, like, the parrot monster and, like, the pregnant guy who was, like, the parrot monster knocked him up. Or dead astronaut, or what a bizarre movie. I don't know why I saw it either, because I don't generally tend to like watching black and white movies as well. But I think it's just, I had a DVD of a bunch of, like, B sci-fi movies, and that was on it. And that was, like, the one I watched before I got bored of the other ones and just got rid of it. So yeah, Riff Tracks, I mean, everything's leaving my head, but, like, a lot of the bigger releases I've seen that they've done. Like Super Mario Brothers, I've seen that one before I saw the riff, and their riff was really funny. Twilight. More Quantum Leap stuff. Yeah, I think they were rerun. Quantum Leap was rerun on Sci-Fi back in the day, but I never saw it on there. And when the show was first run, I mean, like, it started before I was born. It was an episode in season 2 aired the day I was born. It was called Catch a Falling Star. And so that was... So I couldn't have caught it first run any time that I would have remembered anyway. And the sci-fi stuff, I didn't have cable until I was like 10, like late 1999, so anything in between then went past me. How was working on Jesus Bro? Oh, it was great. It was fantastic. I loved working on that. I love acting, and I wish I'd get more opportunities to do it. Yeah, the guy who directed it, I'm gonna say his name wrong. Ryan Mitchell. Mitchell? I don't know. Sorry, Ryan. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. He's worked with Brad a lot. He's friends with him and everyone in the Springfield crew. So he directed it, and this is my first time working with him as a director. But I'd worked with him previously on Ninja the Mission Force Season 2, and he was director of photography, I think was the official title for him. And he was working behind working the camera for the most part. But yeah, I loved working with him because, like, he was really he planned things really well, but also, like, he handled things when they went wrong just really calmly and smoothly. And anytime that you're working on a project, like something where, you know, filming something like a web series or a movie or anything like that, things are always going to go wrong because you can't plan for everything. And that's not usually a problem for me. It's just how a director handles it. And I know for a fact that there were a lot of things going wrong that I didn't know about at the time. And he handled it just perfectly fine. And he was able to give good direction, you know, if he thought that it was not cohesive with the scene, or if it wasn't going with what they were going for. Like, he was direct and honest about, you know, like, okay, we really need this to go more this way, you need to add more of this. And I really appreciate it when a director knows what they want and vocalizes it. And I loved working with Brad and Tamara. It was my first time meeting Tamara, and she was super nice. I got to talk with Malcolm for a little bit too. He was really nice. yeah, all the people behind the scenes. There's some really funny guys working on it that Ryan had worked with previously and friends with some of the Springfield crew. I gotta have like my makeup done and get all like primped up for one of the scenes, which I won't talk about. It's a spoiler, but yeah, I can't wait for it to finally come out. I've seen a rough cut and it was really funny, so I hope you guys check it out. Oh, Michelle says that I'm cool. Thanks. You came to the UK recently. Would you like to come back and see other areas such as Wales and Scotland? Anything that surprised you about the UK? Um, I get so anxious about travel, but I loved going to London. That was a really fun trip. And I was glad that I did it because it was something that I talked about for a while. Me and Phelan were like, you know what? Let's just do it. We talk about it forever. Let's just like not leave it hanging and let's go. So that's what we did. And luckily, we have lots of friends in the UK that we were able to visit while we were there as well. And it was really great to see them. Some of which we never met in person, like Mike J, Happy Harry. They were really fun. Um, so yeah, I mean, if I came back, I'd wait a little bit because I just anxious traveling. But yeah, I wouldn't say no. Going to Scotland or Wales or seeing what's in the rest of the UK. We mostly stayed around London, which is just huge. I mean, it's not like we were ever out of things to do. Um, what were some other parts of the question? Anything that surprised you? I didn't know. I think I might have been aware that there was no air conditioning in a lot of places, and it was during a heat wave that we went. So because we went in the summer because we wanted to make sure the weather was a little nicer. Um, but it was during a heat wave where no one was prepared for it. It was hotter in London than it was in LA. And they don't have air conditioning in most places because they don't need to. They're prepared to keep people warm, but not to keep them cool. And so a lot of places just had like fans in there, box fans, hoping that for the best. Some places like the subway, they had warnings for people about heat exhaustion and making sure they take breaks and things like that to prepare people for heat that they weren't prepared for. We went to a museum, I think it was just London Science Museum, that had no AC, and it was crammed with people, and it was so hot I thought we were gonna pass out. Like, we had to leave because we were like, this is not good. Like, is not healthy conditions to be in. So yeah, I was surprised about that. I was surprised that luckily our hotel, they had AC, and that was like a luxury, so we were really lucky. They had lights that you had to put your hotel key in to turn it on, and then when you took it out, it would turn it off. So that way you wouldn't waste power when you were gone, and I've never seen that in the States. So yeah, there were some surprising things there. Oh, that they'd charge you for the plastic bags because that was a new thing. It was like, I don't know, 5 cents or something. But by adding that extra charge, a lot of people don't want to pay, and that helped them to get rid of some waste, which apparently worked. Um, if you ever get married, will it be in the beautiful Cinderella dress from Charmed? No. I hate that dress. It was the ugliest damn thing. That was fucking atrocious. Man, so bad. I want to kind of love some of the Charmed fashion because I just love kitschy things that are kind of so ugly they're pretty. But Phoebe makes it so hard. She just has such terrible fashion choices. Do you ever watch anime, and if so, any that you like? Not really. I'm not really an anime person. I watched Princess Mononoke. That was good. Some Sailor Moon. I liked Sailor Moon pretty well. I kind of stopped after a little bit. Tenchi Muyo. I'd watched Tenchi Muyo. Inuyasha. These are ones that I've like sporadically seen, but I never really sat down and like I'm just gonna watch all of this. Animation in general, I've never really gotten into quite so much. Who'd win in a fight, Mitch from Baywatch or the Charm Sisters? I don't know. I think the Charmed Sisters would have a leg up, though Mitch did fight the Supernatural in Baywatch Nights Season 2. So, I guess it would depend on how much experience Teague had with this, or he could give him a leg up on this. Of course, Teague never really helped anyway. But the Charm Sisters, they've got their apathy working against them too, so it depends on how much of a threat he is to them. He is a dude, and they don't like dudes so much. So it's possible the Charmed ones would win. I want to lean in their direction. How often do you hear from actors or directors for movies you've talked about on movie nights or OLP? Occasionally. Usually people are pretty cool about it, like they like that there's the attention. A lot of the times I'll hear from people that are like, I know so and so from this. Like they'll be like, this is the little league coach of my kid, or this is my hairdresser, or I know this person, I see them every year at this parade, or something. I heard from quite a bit of the people from Sinbad Battle of the Dark Knights. You guys saw I'm sure you saw the interviews that I did with them to talk about it, and that was fantastic to hear about what went on behind the scenes with that, and all of them were super cool. Occasionally I'll get people that they're like, hey, I liked that you did this, can you talk about my other movie? I'd like to get some promotion for that. That happened with Amazing Bulk with Louis Schoenbrunn. And he wanted me to talk about Aliens versus Avatars this was back in Obscura Sleeper Presents days, and so I did, and he was nice enough to cameo in that one for me. Back when I was still fairly green, I think all of the Obscura Sleeper Presents videos, I was fairly green in them, so so that was he didn't have to do that, and he did, and he's always been super nice because he friended me on Facebook, and he'd say, like, happy birthday and stuff like that. So, I mean, like, he still talks occasionally to me on there. I don't know. Yeah, it was more in the Obscura Sleeper Presents days. But yeah, sometimes I'll hear from people, or people that worked on the Witchcraft movies. Yeah, every once in a while. How did you end up in Illinois? I remember you were in Arizona during your Obscura Sleeper days. And a little toward the end, I was in Illinois as well. Yeah, a lot of people that I know are in Illinois. And I grew up in Arizona. That's where I was born and raised. West Philadelphia, born and raised. I just wanted to go and be somewhere different. And I'd come here to film Ninja the Mission Force, and I really liked this area, so I decided I was just gonna go, and so that's what I did. Yeah, I really love it here. I love where I'm living now. I didn't like my first apartment. My first apartment was crappy, but I guess a lot of people's first apartments are crappy, because that was my first time living away from home. I was still living with my parents. During most of the Obscura Sleeper run. That was just my room. Could you use your internet influence to get Nash Williams Burt Gummer crossover? I think you overestimate how much influence I've got. I think I'm not as big potatoes as you think I am. Is that a term? I know small potatoes is a term. Is big potatoes a term? If it isn't, I'm gonna make it one. Yeah, that would be fucking awesome though. I know they almost had that Phantasm movie that Bruce Campbell almost did before Ravager came out. They were gonna do a post-apocalyptic one that the Bruce Campbell was in, and that sounds awesome. And I'm disappointed that never happened. That's what the fourth one was made for mostly. It was made cheaply to try and get funding for this fifth one that didn't happen until recently. I still need to watch Ravager. Because I reviewed the other Phantasm movies. Those are some of my really old videos. But, yeah, I'd like to talk about that one as well and see what it's like. If another reviewer covers a film you've reviewed, do you feel a need to check out their opinion of it, particularly if they are one of the big podcasts like How Did This Get Made or Flophouse? I don't actually watch How Did This Get Made or Flophouse, or listen to, I should say, their podcasts. I might have listened to the How Did This Get Made. I think they did one on Color of Night, which was really funny. But I don't have a lot of time for a lot of podcasts, so there's not that many I listen to. I love My Brother and Me. They're really funny. And the OSW video podcast. Um, yeah, when there's bigger ones, usually, I mean, if a bigger review series or podcast or whatever, if they talk about a So Bad It's Good movie, usually I'm going to hear about it from fans. They're going to be like, hey, they covered this, you should talk about this. I think that's part of why Fateful Findings and Double Down and things like that got thrown my way. Double Down was covered by Red Letter Media and Best of the Worst, stuff like that. How Did This Get Made did Solar Babies, but I think that was one I decided to do on my own just because I heard a lot of people talk about it being infamously bad, but not seen a lot of reviews of it, so I wanted to talk about that. But yeah, I'm getting off track. Do I want to check out their opinion of it? I try to avoid it until I've done my own, because I want to see what they do, but I don't want it to influence what I've talked about. That's what I did way back when I did Birdemic. This was before I was dating Phelan. Phelan did Birdemic right around the same time I did. He released it just before I did. So I waited until I'd finished mine to watch his, because I didn't want to have his jokes influence my jokes. And so oftentimes, you'll get like similar things, but not exactly the same. I think sometimes I would script it and then watch it, so that way I could take out things that were too similar. I might have done something like that. But yeah, usually I wait till afterwards. Witchcraft 10's the funniest video ever? Thanks. I don't remember which one was 10. Which one was 10? Was that the UK one? Where it was like the vampires in London? There's so many of them, I'm just getting mixed up. I want to say that was like with the weird superhero stuff. Mm. Yeah, it was the UK one. The weird one that it only had like Lutz in it? It didn't even have Garner, right? It was just Lutz? Gosh, it's been forever. I know I just put those up, but I do not rewatch them. So, not recently anyway, so a lot of them are kind of blending together. Whenever the newest Witchcraft sequels come out, 14, 15, and 16, yes, there's 3 more. Whenever they come out, I'll have to rewatch all the videos just to like get caught up on whatever the hell happened and all the plots and inconsistencies. Yeah, they filmed the next 3 Witchcraft movies back to back over the course of 3 weeks. So they're good. Get Burt Gummer in the 3rd season of Ash vs. Evil Dead. It would improve it. Are you talking about like the character or just Michael Gross? Because if it was just like, how would that even work? If it was the character, like, ooh, like graboids and stuff in the Evil Dead universe? Yeah, it'd be sweet. Yeah, it would. Once the newness wore off of Ash vs. Evil Dead, like, just more and more, like, it's disappointing me with like the dude bro-y aspect of it. It's really I want it to be so much, it has such potential to be better than what it is. It's not terrible, because there's some really funny stuff in it, but it just it could be so much more. And I've talked about this in the podcasts, but as the newness wears off, the more nitpicky I get. I want more of those old doll fanfics you did. Please do more. No. Well, I only had the one, I think. I don't think I wrote like a saga of the old doll fanfics. It was just something that was stupid. I don't think I even have them anymore. If I do, they're in storage somewhere. Can we expect a Baywatch movie review when it comes out, or do we have to wait until the end of the Baywatching series? Yeah, I'll do it when it comes out. I'll probably be on the midnight screenings for it with Brad, and then do my own separate vlog just for this channel. And then when it's released, onto DVD and Blu-ray, then I'll do a proper Baywatching video on it. I don't want to wait till the end of the series because I think like the interest will wear off, and I don't think it's gonna fit into any of the continuity of it. So I'll just do a video of it when it comes out. I'm coming close to Baywatch Nights, by the way. That's during season 6, and I'm in season 5 right now. And I'm gonna be doing some more Baywatching videos pretty soon because it's been a while since I've done it. I've been working on just trying to get the backlog of movie nights done that I filmed when Phelan was visiting. So there's a couple more coming out where I still got the long hair. But after that, I'm going to be doing some more Baywatching, and I'll probably do some Manic episodes. I want to talk about some Saved by the Bell, because I watched all of the series and the college series, by the way. I saw the college years, but I didn't actually do anything with it, and I feel like that's a missed opportunity. So I'm going to talk about some Saved by the Bell. What has been your favorite midnight screenings experience? The Nut Job. The Nut Job was hilarious. Just Phelan and Brad and me, like, cold ass night, just like ridiculously freezing, like make your snot into icicles freezing, and all of us huddled together talking about this middle of the road nut job. I can't wait for Nut Job 2 to come out. By the way, there is a Nut Job knockoff called Get Squirrely that just came out in the States, by the way. Oh, in the UK as well. Get Squirrely. That was, I think it was in another language, and so it just got translated to English, and that's why it's just now coming out. But it's not the thing to knock off or ride the coattails of. And I have Get Squirrely. We're going to do a video on that when Nut Job 2 comes out. Cat emergency. We'll be back soon. Okay, thanks for keeping me informed. I hope your cat's okay. I'll grab my kitty. Uno momento. Dun dun dun. Oh, she's so sleepy. Picked her up when she was having a nap. She don't like that. I love Christmas and always enjoy your Christmas specials. What has been your favorite Christmas episode or film you haven't yet reviewed? Ooh. I love Gremlins. Gremlins a good Christmas movie. I don't know if I'll ever... I could review that. I think it would fit in there. If I thought I had something to say wasn't covered by other people. I love Elf, though I wouldn't review that just because I don't need to review Elf, but that's a fun movie. Everything's just leaving my head. Favorite Christmas movies. I like Muppet Christmas. That one's really fun. Does Ash need a lot of brushing? She sometimes she'll get mats in her fur, and if I can't get them out, I'll have to cut them out. She gets a stupid little patch on her. But yeah, she's got a lot of fur. She's laying on my lap now. You want to join the Q&A, Ash? Hey, don't duck away. She's shy. Doesn't want to be on camera. Hopefully the window isn't blinding any of you guys. I closed the blinds, but it's during the day, so. Is Grady as adorable in real life as he is on video? No, ugly cat. Not as cute as my cat. No, Grady's fine. Grady's cute. I'll watch him sometimes when Nash is on trips. Yeah, he's a finicky cat. Like he's really shy. he was really scared of people for a long time when Nash adopted him. But eventually, once he gets to know you, he'll warm up and he can be really cute. He's so soft. He's got such soft fur. Softer than yours, Ash. What up with that? So I don't know, how are you guys enjoying the Q&A? Is this good? Do you like this format? I'll go back to the other format if you guys prefer it that way. Just experimenting with things. I want to be able to interact with you guys, you know? Here's a Mad Libs? We can't, like, write the whole story. You have to just give, like, noun, verb, noun, whatever. Adverb. Oh, cool. Alright, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. We can follow up on questions asked earlier. Yeah, that is a good point. You get in as many questions as you want. What YouTube channels aside from your own do you recommend? I really like Mike J's channel. He does infomercialism, and you guys probably remember him from doing the I'm spacing on what he calls his movie show now. Shameful Sequels, duh. And he still does those occasionally, but yeah, he does really great stuff. And he's a really nice person too. We gotta hang out with him. I mean, there's a lot of other reviewers that I watch that I know anyway, because they're friends of mine. You know, like watch Brad's channel. There's one I just started called History Buffs. That they talk about historical movies and their context in history and what the accuracies and inaccuracies are, and they just did a lengthy one on Dances with Wolves that was really interesting and covered the Dakota Pipeline as well, and went into current events with Native Americans and with the Sioux, or Sioux Indians, not Sioux. I don't know, whatever, the Sioux Indians, and that was really interesting. I watched the Last Week Tonight YouTube channel that they got for John Oliver's show. Reckless Eating. Those guys are really hilarious and also genuinely kind people. Matt Zion has always been a really great friend to me. Everything just leaves my head when I have to think of it. The Red Letter Media, Best of the Worst. I usually just stick to Best of the Worst because I love that show, and Wheel of the Worst. Those guys are hilarious. Witchcraft 5, this movie. Yeah. Mike was in Witchcraft 5 with me. I know he was where I scripted that, and he was worried that I just made him seem like he was just obsessed with boobs. He was a really good sport. I don't know why I didn't do the UK one with him. I don't remember why I picked that one in particular. I think it was just because it was a sequel, and he did Shameful Sequels, and I just wanted to do a crossover with him, because I've been on the site with him for a long time. Have I done any acting outside from Channel Awesome and Ninja the Mission Force? There's Jesus Bro, which I just finished filming in November, which I think next month is supposed to come out, tentatively. I could be wrong on that. You might have to look that up. I've done like some voice stuff for like the internet things. Like there was this thing called Ooze Tunes I did like a voice for. I mean, voiceover work is what it is. It's not anything professional. I used to do theater before I did any of this video stuff. When I was in high school and a little bit into college, I did some theater stuff. And once I started doing on-camera stuff, I liked it a lot more. Like, it's a completely different vibe being in theater versus being on camera. I had better memorization skills then, you know, you have to like memorize a whole play. I was Lady Macbeth in a production of Macbeth, and that was a huge challenge, which I don't know if I could do again because my mind's just left me. My memorization skills are not what they used to be, especially now that I do a lot of stuff off the cuff now. Um, but I did that. There was a production of Brigadoon, which I did in freshman year in high school, and I was Meg something or other. Meg, the town harlot that's always trying to get with the comic relief side character guy, and that was fun. We did a production of High School Musical where I was Mrs. Darby, the drama teacher, which was one of the few characters that did not have to sing or dance, which was nice because I didn't really want to sing those songs. We did Arsenic and Old Lace. I was in that. Brave New World. Yeah. Anne of Green Gables. Oh, the Mad Libs. Okay. All right. You better promise this isn't gonna be stupid. Okay. You gotta fill it in afterwards. Okay. Man's first name Mitch. Last name Buchanan. Machine time machine. Past tense verb. Hit. Place. The max. Adjective. Awesome. Plural noun. Dogs. Supernatural entity. The Babadook. The Duke. Noun. The Duke. New name. Phoebe. Profession. Asshole. Noun. Twizzlers. I'm looking at some Twizzlers. Media format. Real player. Real video file. Same name as 115? I don't know what that means. Same name as 106. I don't know what that means. Is that Mitch and Phoebe? Noun. Quarters. Other noun. Beret. 19 with opposite pair. I don't know. You're making me think too much for this. Okay, that's as far as I'm going. Okay. Tip, if you live stream again, ask for questions beforehand as well, so you have something to answer if we run out of questions. Yeah, okay. That's a good tip. I'll do that next time. If this goes over well. If that's a yeah, if there's any other tips for improvement, I'm glad to hear them. I just had a vision of Mitch Buchanan traveling through time, searching for the greatest burger in history. Was there time travel on Baywatch? Oh, yeah. Badly handled time travel. They did at least one. There might have been two. The one they were like forgetting who was the time traveler and who wasn't, and it was just a confusing mess. It was so badly done. It was like Mitch and Ryan, who's Angie Harmon's character, they time travel and then have to do something to stop or save their past selves or their future selves. I don't know. They have to save themselves, and they time travel. But then like it sort of switches point of views and seems to forget who were the ones that were following or that time traveled to begin with. And by the end, it's just sort of like, why? Why did any of this happen? That's kind of a lot of Baywatch nights. It's sort of disappointing in that it's more confusing than anything. What's the best and worst Kickstarter campaign you've seen? The best one? I love the Bring Back Mystery Science Theater. They're still giving rewards for that, and I contributed to that, and the new season is starting, I think, next month as well. I loved that. I loved the and if I'm confusing Indiegogos and Kickstarters, sorry, I don't remember what specifics. The one for Beyond the Mirror Image for the Observer's Guide to Quantum Leap. By the way, okay, I gotta show you guys this. This is the book. Like, look how thick this is. This is like Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire thick. And this is all just trivia and behind the scenes and inaccuracies and alternate versions and unproduced things and all sorts of trivia about Quantum Leap. I'm only just barely into it, as you can see where my bookmark is. And it's just insane the amount of research and detail put into that, and so I was so glad to contribute to that. That was probably the best, for me anyway. I don't know about, like, financially the best one that I've seen. The worst? Did Uwe Boll try to, like, do one for one of the Postal sequels, and then he got mad because no one would fund it? That's when he did that rant about it. I think also James Wen tried to do one for Birdemic 3, but he didn't know how to promote it, so, like, no one knew about it. I think there was also one for Ice Cream Man 2, the Clint Howard movie, that just no one knew about. So it's a shame, because a lot of these ones, Kickstarters for, like, belated sequels, or Kickstarters run by people that have been in the industry for a while, they don't know how to promote it on social media and how to reach out to people in a new way, because it's not how it used to work, and so some things kind of go by the wayside because they just weren't promoted properly, or they just don't know who to connect to. Not that I'm an expert at any of this. What kind of music do you listen to? It's kind of eclectic. I like all sorts of music. I think mostly indie or oldies is sort of the majority of what I listen to. Like, I love stuff from, like, 40s to the 80s, and you kind of range in there. I like 50s stuff a lot. Or indie or alternative stuff. If it's really happy or really depressing, I like it too. I don't want any middle sliders. No middle sliders. You just have to have one or the other. Read the saga of the Coleco Chameleon. It was an incredibly amazing failed crowdfunding campaign. Okay. Ooh, no. I know the worst campaign that I've seen. It was Indiegogo. But not financially the worst, but the worst one I've seen was for Pop Quiz Hotshot. That sure gave y'all the rewards, huh? I'm really sorry if any of you guys backed it. I truly am. But man, what a clown show. When a series changes genre, like having supernatural and sci-fi elements to Baywatch, is it fun or does it ruin the show? It depends on your perspective. I think in general, it's not good for the show, unless the show was just bad to begin with. Like, I think Dark Shadows, that didn't start out as a supernatural show. It started out as, like, a typical soap opera, and they changed it into the vampire stuff and witches and werewolves and all that, and that was what was the success, and that's what people knew it as. But if you go into something like Baywatch Nights, when you change the genre from a detective show to supernatural, like, it comes out of nowhere. It's so strange. Or I don't know if this really counts as switching genres, but when I suppose so, when She-Wolf of London became Love and Curses, it went from a drama with some humorous elements to just full-on comedy, like a sitcom comedy, and it completely changes the characters, changes what the story is and the context, and I can enjoy it for being funny. Love and Curses is hilariously bad. Baywatch Nights, hilariously bad. But it's not, it doesn't improve the show, it just depends on your enjoyment of bad ideas that somehow made it to screen. Ooh, alright. This is the Mad Libs. about Quantum Leap. Theorizing that one could time travel within his own lifetime, Dr. Mitch Buchanan stepped into the Quantum Leap time machine and hit. Ooh, that fits. He woke to find himself trapped in the Max, facing awesome dogs that were not his own, and driven by the Babadook. Babadook? I need to know how to pronounce that. To change the history for the better, his only the Duke on this journey is Phoebe, an asshole from his own Twizzlers, who appears in the form of a real video file that only Mitch can see and hear. And so Dr. Buchanan finds himself leaping from quarters to beret, striving to put right what once went wrong and hoping each time that his next leap will be the leap home. Ah, beautiful. I love a lot of that did fit. Like a real video file. It's more advanced than what they had in 89. So really, like, if the hologram was a real video file, it would be a little more advanced. Oh yeah, did you guys see Ash leaping under her little cat stand there? Ash? Did you have to do much editing on your old videos to upload them on YouTube because of copyright issues? Yes. Yeah. I hope you guys are enjoying the reruns. I don't want to, like, keep flooding the channel, but I do want to make my old stuff available, and I just waited far too long to put this stuff on YouTube. It was on Dailymotion and on Phaelus.com, so it was never not available, but YouTube is accessible to more people. But yes, I had to do a lot of editing. And where I could, I tried to keep as much as I could. The only times I really cut stuff was when it was music issues. So the American Ninja videos, the montages where they had music tracks to them were severely cut down. And I apologize for that, but I understand why they can't be included. But I had to do a lot of like freeze frames during longer clips because they were edited with clips longer than 30 seconds, because back in the blip days I didn't have to worry about that. So hopefully it's not too distracting or taking away. Still has the same content there, but I did have to work for like this was like over a week straight where I was just constantly editing and working on the old videos and clearing up copyright issues and stuff. I still have a couple that I'm waiting on because they have parody songs in them that I have to clear, but they're still available to watch. They're just, I have to wait for the copyright issues to clear. So yes, I did have to do a lot of editing. Do you think that American Werewolf in London / Love and Curses was ahead of its time, since it is very similar in theme and tone to Buffy the Vampire Slayer, at least in season 1? Well, it's called She-Wolf of London, but it did start out as an adaptation of American Werewolf in London until Universal realized that they didn't have the rights to it. Polygram did, so they changed it to a female protagonist, and obviously the plot is not terribly similar outside of there being an American who is bitten by a werewolf in London. I do think it was ahead of its time, though, because and I think that's probably the reason that it was not successful. Outside of the fact it was also promoted on, Universal was trying to do their own channel at the time, and it didn't reach enough people because it was a new channel trying to get noticed. But yeah, because it was a drama series about the supernatural, but it had comedy elements too, so it had like gore in it. One episode had nudity in it. Very quick shot of nudity, but it was there. But they also had comedic elements to it, and they did play on that. So it was really hard to market that, and I know Buffy had the same sort of issues when it was starting. Which is not, I think, not unheard of, but just difficult to market, and especially in the London market. They didn't care for the gore. They didn't know, they thought that they just didn't have any say in the tone and the content of the series, which is part of the reason that the UK backers pulled out of it and they had to move to LA. I think if it had been given time to grow, I think it would have been more fondly remembered by people, because Love and Curses is just trash. But hilarious trash. I mean, it is really funny, but a bit disappointing to see what they did with a show that really had potential to be something. And it could have been just as good as Buffy, I think. I think a lot of the issues that they did have, because the first season, well, I guess the only season, the first stuff that was in London, had issues, like, sometimes it was difficult to like Ian as a character, sometimes they were nagging at each other too much, and things that would have been ironed out if they'd continued in London as they were. It would have made more sense for the period Quantum Leap was set in if Al appeared to Sam in a real video file and had to constantly rebuffer. Yeah, they were ahead of its time too. They had like the little hand link that looks like the iPhones and stuff. Called it. I binged the Charmed reviews, or Stupid Buffy as I call it. Yeah. Yeah, definitely riding the Buffy coattails until it became like Sex and the City, I guess. So confused. Will the animated Frogtown be redone? Well, the animated one I don't need to redo because it's just, that's all clips that I put on there. But if you check now, you might find the original one in the list. Obscure Slooper Presents. You might be able to find the original one. I don't know how long that'll stay up, but it is there. Yeah, you notice the freeze frames and subspecies? Yeah. There were some scenes where I had like a lot of problems with it. I had to add a lot of freeze frames, or I didn't care to put as many in as I did, but I tried to make sure that it wasn't quite so distracting. Will we get any new Radu reviews? Probably. I just do it when the mood strikes me. I've not been inspired to do them lately. I love doing them. I mean, I love the character. It's a really kooky character to play, but I don't know. I've just not been in the mood to film them. I don't know. I still got the stuff. What is better, a series full of potential canceled in the first series, or a good series that goes on for far too many seasons and runs out of ideas before the end? I don't know. I think probably one that goes on too long over one that's canceled before it could reach its potential. Because at least you get to the good stuff when it runs too long. You could be like, okay, these seasons are crap. I don't really want to rewatch these. But when it's canceled, that's all you get. You're like, oh, it was almost there, but it didn't quite get to it. Radu watches Charmed. Yeah, maybe I'll have to do a Q&A, a Radu Q&A. What do you think? Some people joked about doing like a commentary or a dub or something on subspecies with Radu. I like doing that voice. It's funny. Are you looking forward to the film of The Disaster Artist? Heck yeah. Yeah, I loved reading the book. That was a really heartfelt book. Like, it was a funny read. Excuse me. It was a funny read. Yeah, if you guys haven't read The Disaster Artist, I really recommend it. And I'm sure the movie will be great. Like, I love just hearing what the story is with Greg Sestero meeting Tommy Wiseau, what Tommy Wiseau was like, how these things came to be. Those are really interesting books to me, things like that too, about just like monumental disasters. I read one, it's called, what is it, Song of Spider-Man? Yes, The Song of Spider-Man. That was about Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, and it was written about the conception of it and how it got really high and then the really low, and then like it helped me to understand more the process behind how this disastrous musical came to be, and made me sympathize more with the people that were just trying to make something bigger than they could. That's another one that you guys should read if you're interested in behind the scenes for hilariously projects that went hilariously wrong. Why is everything Johnny Depp touches turned to feces recently? Probably because he's an asshole. Oh, we don't need to get into that. Tumblr people are lame. I like Tumblr. Just depends on who you meet on Tumblr, I guess. I'll go for a little bit longer. and then I think we'll call it a day with this Q&A, if that's all right with you folks. I did the GIF inserting you into Star Wars following a UK trip. It took far longer than it should, but I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, it was really funny. I apologize for all the technical issues before getting this stream started. It just took a little bit for it to actually get going. It might be just because my connection. I hope this isn't distractingly lagging or anything. I'm sure I'll find out whenever it uploads. Thanks for answering all these questions. Well, you're welcome. Board game reviews? Are you asking if I'm going to do more? Yeah, I don't have, like, well, I mean, I guess I have some board game. There's some board games that, like, I've tried out, I just didn't feel like doing a video on. Because they're just, like, frustrating. Like, the Angel board game is, like, the worst board game that I have ever played. Like, they did not test it out, so, like, the rules of it are, like, contradictory. Like, it is actually unplayable. So that's a piece of shit. There's also, I have both Buffy board games, because there's a UK one and one that was in the States, and the UK one's not that great. I like adaptation board games that are, like, taken from TV shows or movies or whatever. Those are interesting to me. But yeah, I guess to answer your question, maybe if there's something that I think is funny. The America's Funniest Home Videos one was just hilarious. I loved filming that one. If I could meet Mitch Buchanan, what would I ask him? I don't know. Where's the best burger joint? I think he would know. He would know where the best burgers are. I feel like I would get the most delicious burger content. Have I tried tabletop role-playing game, especially of TV properties like Buffy? Or is that too geeky? Well, I don't know if you know this about me, but I have a Dreyerland portrait of Dean Stockwell, so I don't know if there's anything too geeky. I think I played one. I don't know if this was a role-playing thing. I guess it was like a haunted house game that I played with some of the folks in Springfield, and I forget what the name of the actual game is, but we were, like, building a haunted house. Like, you would pick up pieces of it and put it together, and depending on what room you went in, you'd get different cards and roll to try and, like, start a different story that was like a haunting, stuff like that. That was fun, but generally, like, if a game's got a lot of rules, I don't want to learn them. I get impatient. Now that Spoonie doesn't make videos, someone must know the Blago. He's, I don't know, he's still, I don't know, when was the last video that he made? That's a bummer. I don't think he's done. He's just had some issues lately. Nice to see where you hung Dean. Yeah, the Dean Stockwell portrait has been up there for a little bit. I was like, I know I'm not gonna put it in my room because it's just gonna be creepy, just watching me at night. So I stuck it in the living room here. What's the most odious comic relief of all time? I don't know, what does odious mean? I'm stupid. Don't use these $10 words around me. Odious. Extremely unpleasant, repulsive. Guido. Guido or Harvey on Baywatch? I think Harvey was probably more repulsive. Guido was more annoying. I hated Guido more. But Harvey, like, on a moral level was more repulsive. Because he'd be, like, hitting on victims and shit like that. And, like, using people. Thoughts on Paul Rubens? Oh, he's really funny. I love Pee-wee. Pee-wee's great, and he was the best thing about the Buffy movie. And I'm sure that was all like improv on his part too, so I mean, I don't care about him like jacking off in a theater or something if that's what you guys are wondering about. I think he comes up with really creative characters. I like that Pee-wee is just silly and there's this innocence about the character even when it's like talking about adult things because I know Pee-wee didn't start out as a kid thing and has been doing more adult stuff. There's still this kind of like nice pure quality about it that I like. It doesn't feel mean-spirited even when he's being selfish. It just feels like a celebration of just being really silly. So I like that. Even though I haven't seen a lot of Playhouse, to be honest. I've seen all the movies. But I haven't watched a lot of Pee-wee's Playhouse. I need to watch a bunch of those one of these days. Are you guys talking about if Paul Reubens died? He didn't die, right? I think I would have heard about this. Did I see the new Pee-wee movie? I did. I thought that was really funny. Yeah. I don't think it was quite as good as not Big Top Pee-wee, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. But yeah, it was still had some really good stuff too. I thought it was like a nice update for Pee-wee. Like if you're gonna do a Pee-wee nowadays, like it made sense. Did I commemorate John Hurt by playing through Tender Loving Care? Surely his best product. No, I didn't. I don't own it. Phelan does, and he's in Canada. But even if I did, I'm not playing Tender Loving Care again. That is too much. Pee-wee's Playhouse Season 3 is amazing. He gave up on it being a kid's show, and it got really surreal. Ooh. I've seen some clips of like the more adult Pee-wee stuff. We had a couple more people join. Was I just like not waiting long enough? Or do we have new people in the stream now? Are you interested in doing Urbex, or you say no if Phelan says, hey, let's go to this collapsing abandoned factory? Oh, is that what you call it, Urbex? When you go urban exploring? Oh, I get it. Yeah, I mean, if there was anything around me, I'm not good at planning things. Phelan really loves this stuff. Obviously, he does videos about urban exploring stuff, but, yeah, I mean, if he asked, I would go do it, but it's never something that I've, like, sought out. Alright, if anyone else, if anyone's new that's joined the stream, they have some questions, go ahead and ask them now. Otherwise, I think we're going to call it a day with this live Q&A. I think it's petering off now. Last chance. Alright, doesn't appear like there's any more. Okay. Thanks for joining me, guys, and thank you so much for the support. I hope that I've done a good job answering the questions for you. I hope you guys have an amazing week, an amazing year. I hope things go better for everyone. I know it's been kind of tough for people. Alright, I'll see you around, guys. Thanks again. Bye!